welcome to the Brent in Japan podcast. I always forget to do this at the beginning. If you watch any more than 5 minutes of this, please like and subscribe. Hey, if you want to just do me a favor, like and subscribe now. So that's out of the way. Basically, what I do is I get together with people I've known for a long time or people who are doing special things in Japan that would be of interest to you, to tell you about life in Japan and about tourist tips, and we probably have a lot of those today. This is Gerard, and he has I'll let you tell what he does. He is a tour guide, among other things, and has a great Facebook page called Go to Japan.
Tour ideas and travel planning.
Okay.
Because there's many Go to Japan groups. Yeah.
And not only here, we were just talking about this, not only you, but a whole bunch of other people contribute to your, people just post, hey, I went to this place, it was amazing, and post pictures. And so it's a really great, it's a wealth of information if you want, especially I noticed there's a lot of things I didn't know about. Yeah. So there's, and I used to live in the Himeji, you live in Himeji, right?
Right. Yeah.
I used to live in Takasago and cool. Near there. So even though I'm from that area, I didn't know about half of the things people were posting about. So it's really, really good information. Not just saying that. Oh yeah, we have. He was nice enough to bring sake. Does it ryuryoku?
No, it's called Tatsuriki.
Tatsuriki, yeah, okay.
Which means dragon power.
Right. So
the power of the dragon.
This kanji you can read as ryu or Tatsu, which it means dragon, and this can be chikara or liku or liki or
Tatsuriki.
Kyo. Or
so many readings.
Yeah. So and this brewery, he said, is about 500 meters from his place.
Yeah. Exactly. And one of the best breweries in Japan. In fact, and makes a lot. They produce great sake on an industrial scale.
Oh, okay.
They also actually produce, if you've ever been to some kind of high-end bar and, you've got some kind of fancy ice, circular ice.
Okay. They
make that too.
Ice.
They make ice products for all of Kansai.
The rice in this area is underrated.
Yeah. In fact, Hyogo produces 30% of all the sake produced in Japan. In fact, most of it is happening in East Kobe in the Nara region. Yeah. But don't forget Himeji, because there are 7, maybe 8 breweries in the Himeji area. Right. Including Tatsuriki.
So there's a place near here called Nara-Gogo, and Gogo means 5. So there's 5 breweries within walking distance. So it's a great area to go to do a tour. I don't really strongly recommend people come to Kobe to see things because it's a lot of foreign influence. I think it's more valuable to Japanese people as a tourist place because they get to see foreign things in Japan. But for foreigners, going around to a foreign house, it's looks like houses in Italy
or Europe. Yeah.
And
however, I would say that if you are a sake enthusiast, then absolutely, the Nara area is worth visiting. And of course I don't want to get too deep into the sake, but I used to actually work as a communications director for a sake exporter.
Oh,
so
wow.
So I do know a little bit about sake.
Oh,
and Yamada Nishiki, which is
I've heard of that.
Which is the type of rice, sake rice that probably 80% of all good sake is made from, was actually kind of invented or crossbred in the Hyogo region too.
Oh, really? Wow. Yep. Well, with no further ado, Kanpai.
Okay.
Oh, that's really nice.
It's not bad, huh?
It's fruity and it's not too light. Sometimes you drink sake, it's too watery sometimes.
Yeah, or the other way, it's too much like jet fuel.
Right. Yep. No, this is very nice.
Right? This is the first one I tried when I came to Himeji, and I was like, you know what? It's not jet fuel. It's actually drinkable.
It's good.
And that changed my life maybe.
So what I meant when I said that this area doesn't get recognition for growing great rice is that areas to the north in Fukui and Toyama, and especially Gifu. Gifu, hands down, if you ask any Japanese person where the best rice is, they'll always say Gifu. But I think with some better branding, with some better PR, Inari-cho, it's between, it's around Akashi area.
Yeah.
They make amazing rice. Just like tons of rice fields, really clean water and great temperatures and everything. But I think just because of a lack of branding,
Yeah. And so, when it comes to sake rice, then, obviously, Hyogo is producing a third of all sake produced in Japan. Is because they've got good rice. Like they're the homeland of the Yamada Nishiki.
Right. So, plus the combination of the clean water, because there's mountains here, and so we get all that nice filtered water. And everything.
And you have to hand it to the managing director of Tatsuriki. I've interviewed him, and he goes really deep, like a viticulturist, whatever is the right word for that. And in France, talking about the difference of the ground, the difference it makes on the sake and the end product.
Right.
Whether it's like a more dry ground, or whether it's a more wet soil. What the difference it makes on the he'll talk your ear off if you let him.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
And how do you, this is, for people visiting, even for me, because I don't order sake in izakaya, but you do tours. And so when you go to izakaya, which is a Japanese style pub, how do you order the sake? Like, what do you say to the person? Even in Japan, what do you say in Japanese, I guess? How do you order? You choose a type. You choose a type of sake.
Maybe you would if you want to get better sake, you could ask for a really, 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 really basic level nihonshu rather than osake.
Right. Okay, right.
Because for them, they're almost maybe a little bit confused, because for them, osake also just means alcohol. Mm-hmm. Right. So it could also mean
right. Yeah.
So.
Right, nihonshu is the way you order, probably,
maybe a better way to talk about it. And then, I think, for me, there's kind of two different ways that sake is on a very basic level. I'm oversimplifying here, because I'm no sake sommelier by any stretch of the imagination, but just as a person who's interested in sake, and also because I had to learn a little bit to be able to sell sake to foreigners. So I would say that first there's junmai, which means that you're just getting the rice. The rice alcohol.
Junmai is something like 30 to 40% polished.
Oh, no. No. Junmai is
zero?
No. Junmai, no. That's a different kind of separation. So junmai is so like I said, there's two differences, two sort of levels. So junmai just simply means that they haven't added any alcohol. If you've maybe made umeshu.
Right, okay.
You just get the ume, the plums, and then you add the white alcohol.
Right,
kind of thing. That's a really basic, you've added alcohol there.
Okay.
So in the same way, if it's not junmai, then they've added some kind of alcohol to help the process along. Okay. So then you have polishing. How much of the outer layer has been polished. So that's the other way that it can be changed. So there's ginjo, which is I can't remember the percentages, but something.
I just studied it recently,
and I don't want to put it out on here and then have your subscribers say, no, you didn't get the right percentages. But anyway, basically you have ginjo, which is polished, I don't know, to a certain amount, and then you have dai ginjo,
right,
which is polished a lot more, and so they're polishing down to the real heart,
right,
or the white heart of the
So
rice
polishing
grain.
means like if this is a grain of rice, then like I thought there was 3 levels, and one is like about 30% polished. So that means it would become like this big.
Yeah.
The other one was like 50, around 50,
50 to
something like
60.
45 to 55 or something like that. So that means half the rice is gone.
Right.
And then the daiginjo, which is what
Daiginjo,
this one is.
yeah.
I don't know what is this one.
I think that one is tokubetsu. Let me just check it.
And then, so basically 70% of the rice is gone. So you're just getting to the really sweet inner of the grain of rice.
Yeah, and some of them just go really nuts. They go really nuts, like down to 3% or something.
Oh, really? Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't see anywhere on there where it's at ginjo or whatever. I just made a little short about it too with this bottle because I said, hey, you want to know how to buy a good sake? Just look for the dai. So the dai kanji, it looks like a person holding their legs and arms out like this.
Yeah, like the fish was
star.
this big.
Yeah, exactly. So when you see that, dai something something, 3 kanji, then that is the highest ranking of sake.
Exactly.
What I do at an izakaya, Japanese pub, is I look at the menu.
The top, actually. No, the middle top.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Maybe that'll have it on it.
What I do is I look for I look at the menu, and then I decide what I want to go for by price, because Japan is basically a place like, Canada used to be, I guess, but perhaps still is, where the more you pay, the better quality you're getting. I mean, these days it's really not always true, but in Japan, Japanese people are fairly honest, and they don't like rip you off on things. So they won't set something at a high price that's not worth it somehow. So, yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure when I bought it, I'm pretty sure that's Jinmai. But I think it might be Tokubetsu Ginjo. I think.
Yeah, but it tastes really good. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Tokubetsu, gi something, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. Oh. There's just 20% something, 80% something else. But I don't know if we can go by that. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a good drink.
Yeah, let's go back to your
groups.
Yeah. Okay, so the Go to Japan. What's the full name? Go to Japan.
Go to Japan. Tour ideas and travel planning.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it in the show notes, and go there and take a look at it and contribute. You can add your own stuff. Like I told, we were talking just today. We only talked for 5 minutes, but we said a lot when he came over. That I looked at his page and I found that he barely posts. Like, I was going through the.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's so many people post that your posts get, and there was a whole bunch of other people contributing, which is great, which is ideal, because you want everybody's,
Well, this
input.
This is the thing. I think that most people do Facebook groups the wrong way. Like, they're trying to control all the information. They're trying to control everything. I just sort of make sure that I have quality guides from various places all over Japan and travel agents who are contributing to my page, because otherwise, if I was trying to create all the content, it would be heavily focused on Kansai, because that's where I am.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, there are some really great, amazing guides all over Japan that are like me, super, super, super knowledgeable about their one little area. Mm-hmm. So I know everything there is to know about Himeji Castle, maybe. Mm-hmm. That's an exaggeration for sure, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. That's my bread and butter. That's what I do 4 or 5 days a week.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and sometimes a couple of tours a day.
Also, people from abroad, they latch on to some cafe in the middle of nowhere that they found somehow on the internet, and then they go there.
Then it goes and it gets
they post a YouTube video,
and then other people go there, and then they post videos, and then it goes.
Yeah. And then some place you never would have known about is popular because somebody from abroad found it somehow,
or maybe it's super popular with just one country.
Yeah.
So, for example, in Hokkaido, Niseko,
Right.
is like a ski resort. It's pretty good, but like it's super famous among Australians.
Australia, yeah. Every Australian wants to go to Niseko.
So just because somehow some kind of buzz got started and it just keeps on self-perpetuating.
Yeah. Okay, and so you've already hinted at what you do. So you're a tour guide based in Himeji, and Himeji Castle is a must-see for anybody coming to Japan. Even if you're going to if you're in. Actually, I recommend you don't stay in Tokyo. You come to Osaka and stay in this area because you've got Osaka, Himeji, Hiroshima, a little far, Kyoto and Nara, all in the same area. Whereas if you go to Tokyo, you've got we can go through some places. You've got Tokyo, Izu, and Nikko, and a few other places.
I guess you could get to Hakone in a day trip.
Yeah.
A long day trip.
And Fuji. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that, but there's just way more in this area to see.
And of course, you're going to pay a lot more if you stay like in Kyoto or Tokyo, because everybody's doing that. Everybody's doing the same thing. I see on my group and on lots of other groups. Okay, here's my plan for Japan. I'm going to stay 2 weeks in Japan, 1 week in Tokyo and 1 week in Kyoto, and I'm going to day trip for all the rest. And then there's probably the same people are like also complaining, oh, why are the hotels so expensive in Kyoto and Tokyo? Hello?
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah,
you're part of the problem.
Stay out just outside of Osaka or somewhere in
you
Osaka.
You could even stay in Himeji. You know what? There's like a hotel. You could stay in Himeji and walk from the hotel to the Shinkansen station and be on a train in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true too. And then in and from Himeji to Osaka is 1 hour?
It's 32 minutes on the Shinkansen.
On the Shinkansen, but
45 minutes on the 45 minutes to Kyoto. However, you would probably be well advised to do like the locals and take the super rapid express, which is on the local JR lines, and it takes about double those times.
Yeah.
But it's like 1/3 the price.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and that's what also the frequency of the trains is just like
they're every 15 minutes.
And you don't have to like do any special booking. Just use your Suica card or Ikoka card or Passmo, whatever is
right,
and just get on the train. So
okay, so besides Himeji Castle, what else? What other maybe definitely lesser known than Himeji Castle, but what other places do you take people that are like really compelling?
Well, I think one of the things that is really underrated in Himeji is Engyoji Temple, which is on Mount Shosha, which is the filming location for Last Samurai. Yep. And then a whole bunch of Japanese movies and TV series. But yeah, if you've seen The Last Samurai and you loved it, then you're going to love going to that one. And it's like 20 temples. In fact, one of them is like a mini spitting image of Kiyomizudera Temple without the crowds.
Right, yeah.
So you can get that experience of Kiyomizudera that you dream of where there's no other tourists, but you can get it in Himeji.
Maybe I'll post a picture over this video showing you me and my friend Yagna, who's I think episode 2 or 3 of this podcast.
You went to Engyoji?
Yeah, we did. We went to Engyoji, and it's just her and I on the balcony of this thing. Just taking, I took like, we took 20 pictures and just hanging out there.
But if you look from the bottom, looking up, it looks a lot like Kiyomizudera.
Right, and even if you haven't seen Last Samurai, it's a really cool place cool place to go. Yeah.
I mean, you could spend a whole day there, but typically I take people for 3 hours.
And if you like hiking, it's you can hike up. It's fairly steep at times, but. Yeah, I guess. Well,
but also, if you don't like hiking, there's like a cable car that takes you halfway up, and then there's a minibus. So, like, there's not a lot of walking.
Something for everybody, folks.
Something for everybody. Yeah. I mean, there is, to get to the main temple, you really have to take some stairs. But that's about it. Yeah. The rest is just like, you can just basically walk or walk from the bus stop.
Yeah, that's a great place. Okay, what else?
Well, actually, in the last few years, there's been like a burgeoning craft brewery scene.
Oh, okay.
So there's three, three craft breweries that were within like about a 15-minute walking distance. So I'm already like in beta testing on that kind of craft beer, and they have some really good, very drinkable drops. I think after every time I go to one of these craft breweries, like, for a week, I'm sad, like drinking like normal Kirin or Sapporo, because
as good as they are, but
it's nothing like that. It's really good.
The craft beer things really started late in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And the small breweries, like multiple, like 3 or 4 people,
Right.
breweries out of people's apartments that get together at these little craft brewery festivals.
Right, right.
That's been going on for a long time, but like mid-size, let's do this right and get some huge vats and stuff like that. It's been really slow in this country.
And of course, like, I think one thing they got right, which is cool, is that it seems to be some kind of law that they get better tax situation if they make it like a bar, like a restaurant. So as long as they're selling food as well, which makes it really ideal for like making a brewery tour, because there's nibbles along the way.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. And speaking of nibbles, what are your where do you take tourists to eat
for lunch and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so usually
continue with places if you want.
No.
I
love this. This is a great change of topic. One thing, since we're in Kobe right now at your place, there's a really cool Kobe beef burger restaurant. They also do skewers, and they also do like Kobe beef on rice, but yeah, that's their kind of like flagship product is Kobe beef on a burger, which is pretty cool.
And that's in Himeji?
That's in Himeji,
Okay,
right
cool.
by the castle.
Oh, wow, cool.
And just around the corner from there is there's like an oyster restaurant, because just west of Himeji is a lot of oyster farms, in Ako and Aioi.
Yeah, from here to basically Hiroshima and even beyond is oyster land.
Yeah, especially just past Himeji.
Because that's when the water cleans up.
Right.
It used to be good here too, and Kobe had a thriving pearl business.
Yes,
but it kind of it's tapered off a lot because the water's not as clean anymore.
Right.
But yeah, especially from Himeji to Hiroshima is like
oyster country.
Yeah, and every I have friends who just like will get in a car and drive, and you can stop at these little spots that have just like baskets of oysters. They'll cook them up there for you right away.
In fact, I was just on, just before New Year's, I was with actually somebody I want to talk about, he's just started he does like glamping businesses all over Japan. Some really, really cool stuff going on there. But we were in Aioi.
Right.
Which and we just found like this oyster restaurant, and it was like we had this big bucket of raw oysters like boiling on a pot, and then we had like deep fried oysters, and what else was in the set? I can't remember, but because the oysters is all you remember after. But yeah,
and you don't want to see
good.
an oyster for like 3 months out there.
And like maybe, but like I don't know what we paid. Like it was probably only like 2,000 or 3,000 yen each, which is like nothing. That's like $20 or something.
Yeah,
but like super fresh oysters. Like we could see the harbor and the boats outside the window. So like it's coming straight off the boat into the pot.
Yeah. But I'm not sure how much noise is going to come in if you're touching the base.
Okay.
Yeah. First time I used these before I had microphones hanging from ceiling, but I'm just trying this for something different.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like having mics in front because, as soon as I do this, now my voice is pointing this way and it's not
into their mic.
So like then I have to talk to you like this. And it's just, it feels so unnatural doing this, even though I'm a musician. I do this all the time. I should be going like this,
Right.
but I'm just trying it this time. See how it works out. Anyway, right. So oysters, especially if you go to Himeji, Himeji, Hiroshima. But of course, fall, winter. Yeah,
yes. So right now is oyster season. So it's great.
But there are places in Japan where you can, where there's the oyster bars in Japan. Basically, they will they will get the oysters from places in Japan where it's oyster season.
Right.
Because Japan is almost 4,000 kilometers from to be north to the south. And so at any given time it's probable that there's oysters in season somewhere. You know?
That's true.
So even in summer, like late August in Sapporo, you can get can get them, and then later this area, and then et cetera. So in Kobe there's some oyster bars. They're good, but of course one oyster is usually about 400 yen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we were the pot, like I think we must have had like 15 oysters each. It was a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So that's like 200 yen each, if that. So that's good. Okay.
Yeah, not even because also we're having deep fried as well, and something else there. I can't even remember what else we ate.
And about the Kobe beef burger, people think that Kobe beef comes from Kobe, but Kobe's a city. There's no cows in the city.
Right.
So they actually come from
sort of
north of Kakogawa.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's as close as Himeji is.
It's actually, so where Kobe beef cows are raised is actually probably closer to Himeji than it is to Kobe, but basically it's like, let's see from their perspective.
It is actually.
It's Kobe, Himeji, and then the cows come from over here. So north of this place called Kakogawa, and Himeji's over here. So, and there are places.
Maybe we should call it Himeji beef.
Himeji
beef. We should claim it back.
Yeah. And if you go you get in a car and drive like north of where you are, north of Kakogawa, you will get to some butchers who sell Kobe beef, and you get it really cheap from there. But if you buy it, for example, right beside right near my apartment, there's a place. I did a short video on this before about this the best bento in Kobe, and they have basically Kobe beef not Kobe beef, but Wagyu bentos.
Yeah.
They're amazing quality and like 1,000 or 1,200 yen.
Wow.
Yeah, they're
That's
really
cool.
cheap. Yeah. And
that's worth explaining too, because that's a common thing that people don't seem to understand. Is like, what's the difference between Kobe beef and Wagyu?
Yeah.
So Kobe beef is basically just one type of Wagyu.
Right.
It's just the Wagyu that you can pronounce.
And with very good branding.
Yes, exactly.
And so, or they got their first kind of,
Right.
But there's Matsubara-gyu or something like that. There's
or something?
Yeah, there's also Saga-gyu.
Yeah.
I have a short video of that too. Me cooking up some Wagyu on a short video. That was Saga-gyu. And there's various places in
all over the Japan
who do it. Basically, when you're talking about Wagyu, it's just like the highly marbled, extremely well taken care of cows. All the other cows in Japan, I researched recently because I did the carnivore diet.
Right.
Japan has a very low rating for how they treat animals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, worldwide. So I stopped buying Japanese beef when I buy Australian beef because Australian cattle is taken care of better than United States. United States is also fairly poor, but Japan is even worse.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what they're doing, spitting on cows, kicking them. I don't know. Adding insult to injury.
Maybe they're keeping them in like pens or something.
Yeah, so I try to buy grass-fed Australian beef. Oh, thank you. Here, look at this.
Yeah, this is like really important when you pour sake. Is you're not supposed to pour it to yourself. You're supposed to. You
never pour your own drink.
You pour for your friend. Kanpai.
Oh yeah, kanpai.
And you should look at each other in the.
I don't know if that's a Japan thing. It's more of a European thing. But do you find it in Japan too? People do that.
I guess so. I always thought it was Japanese too.
Yeah, no, I think it's more of a European thing for me. But
maybe Japanese find it more confrontational. Maybe.
Possibly, but yeah. In another episode, I went through the whole sake pouring thing where you like you go to pour somebody else's, and then you go to pour yours, like you pretend like you're going to pour yours, but the other person goes, no, let me do it. It's, no, it's okay. I'll do it. And then then you go like this. And there's also this kind of thing where people use their other hand to support their hand, where they're holding their cup. It's kind of a geisha thing almost.
Right.
And geisha used to seductively show a bit of wrist.
Oh, I see. That's like the whole point of it.
When they poured, they would pour like this and show some wrist,
right.
you know?
Wow.
So they gave the wrist and the back, the nape of the neck. That's why they have it, their kimono draped down like that.
That's what the thing is. Yeah, at the back.
Which is the cleavage mark
of the back.
Yeah, like that. Their makeup, they make like a dovetail in the back. No, not like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's why they do that, because it's a sensual thing.
Wow.
Geisha are not prostitutes, by the way. They apparently they're extremely high-paid artists and extremely knowledgeable, and
if you get them after hours, they're extremely high-paid.
And and it's not like they can't be bought, but it's more like a patronage thing.
Yeah.
And then whether they sleep with their patron or not is a totally different thing. So. Yeah, it's interesting. Memoirs of a Geisha. Have you read that book?
Yeah, but also like that's written by a foreigner, so I'm not sure how.
But what they did is they kind of like, kind of like a lot of the like samurai movies or whatever, like Last Samurai or whatever. Yeah. They take all these tableaus of Japanese life and make sure they incorporate it. So just jam-packed with this scene of like a whole bunch of different, things. Kind of like the Karate Kid also. The Karate Kid.
Yeah, or makes me think of like You Only Live Twice, which is a Bond, Sean Connery's last official Bond movie, which also has like a connection to Himeji Castle, because they had Bond do a circuit around Himeji Castle and then land in front of it, and then it's all these Japanese tropes that like foreigners had, or British foreigners had British people had in the 60s.
Right.
And so he gets out, and of course Bond meets the Tanaka of the Secret Service, and of course he's wearing a kimono because otherwise you wouldn't recognize that he's Japanese. And then like he's shown the secret ninja training school. And of course, like, it's so over the top because the screenwriter for that particular movie was none other than Roald Dahl.
Oh, really?
Yes, wow. Yes, really. So of course it's like so over the top. It's it's geishas, it's ninjas, it's people like assaulting underground volcano layer kind of thing.
Have you seen Shogun, the most recent Shogun?
Yes.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It's great. I mean, I think Anna Sawai is a real standout in that. I mean, I think in the first original Shogun with Richard Chamberlain and Toshiro Mifune, I never remembered the character Mariko in that one. But like, she's an absolute standout in the new Shogun series. And I think there's a reason why. Because she was born in New Zealand, just like me. You're welcome.
Okay, that's all, folks. We got to cut this short.
No, I'm joking.
So,
but she was, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about her in that. Of course, she's stunning.
Yeah.
She's stunningly beautiful, but not only that, she was tasked with conveying emotions on film without conveying emotions. So she's supposed to look like somebody who's trying to hide their feelings, but we can read her feelings.
Right. Well, actually, like my my undergraduate degree was in theater and
oh, really? Okay.
Film.
Yeah.
So like that's how every actor is supposed to be, because
right.
Because that's what they teach you, is that like 100 or 200 years ago, that's what people would do, was showing emotions. Exactly, still on Japanese TV, unfortunately, most of the actors are showing, I'm angry now.
Yes.
Or I'm sad.
That's the one thing I don't like about the Japanese movies and stuff.
Like what I was taught in college is like, you feel the emotion and then try to hide it.
Yeah. Because, I'll often, when I'm watching a movie with Saudi or drama or whatever, I'll often stop and go, I'll back it up. I'll say, look at how this guy's acting is amazing. Look, he looks like a guy who is angry, but not showing that he's angry, or he looks like a guy who just found out something bad, but he's not allowed to show it. Like you could just look at this. I'll play it again. Yeah. Look, that's exactly he looks. And I don't know how they do it, but Mariko Sawai is just by thinking something happens here. Something
like little micro expressions.
Exactly.
Like we pick them up.
Yeah, it is. I think. Yeah, it's.
But that's what we do as like humans. Like
right,
I think the most interesting drama that anyone can see on your local TV is the news. Like some tragedy happens, you'll see ordinary people that are like dealing with the most horrible or intensely joyful experiences.
Yeah.
And maybe not on the joyful side, but certainly on the difficult side.
Right.
Humans will try to grin and bear it, you know? And you can see that intense emotions that are going on with ordinary humans. Mm-hmm. And then like what an actor should be doing is imitating that, is imitating life, And
I also thought they did a great job of balancing the foreign way. I talked about this, I think, episode 1 with Sean about Mr. Baseball. Okay. And you've seen that, right? The Tom Selleck, old 80s,
right.
American pitcher over the hill. Right. He starts playing in Japan.
Right.
Anyway, they did a great job in Shogun of not saying that the Japanese way is right or that the foreign way is right.
They just showed they're different.
And how both of them are kind of messed up and how both of them are right sometimes. Like, he's good. And Mariko, why would you want to kill yourself? But at the same time, I think even foreigners, people who are not familiar with Japanese traditional customs, they would say like, but I kind of understand her. But at the same time, I think she's nuts. And
and of course, like Mariko's like caught in the middle because she's caught between two worlds because she's trying to like, grapple with the idea that like, the honorable thing for a Japanese to do is to kill herself in some situation. Mm-hmm. But also, like, because she's converted to Christianity, and certainly at the time, like, it's a mortal sin to kill yourself.
Right, yeah.
Because that's like, it's like killing another human. It's like...
Right. And then, and then Mariko's listening to him and kind of sort of gets him and then makes her case to him. And he's like, kind of sort of get her. And so there's like a real tension, but it's nobody saying, hey, this is the way it should be. It's kind of like they really thread the needle. I think that's the expression. Yeah. So I thought it was great. Hiroyuki Sanada is cool as frick. He's a really cool guy. He did a great job too. And all the actors.
Actually, like
every single supporting actor is just amazing.
And I just saw that like actually they I saw in somebody's feed as I was coming on the train here that like they actually won 3 Golden Globes.
Oh, really?
For Anasawai, for Sanada, and for Asano. I think that's the guy that plays the guy that's everyone's frenemy.
Right.
With the beard, And he almost drowns and he's almost going to kill himself.
No spoilers. Oh yeah, okay. He almost drowned. He almost kills himself at the beginning. You're going to see that like episode 1. So if you haven't seen episode 1 yet, it's your problem.
I could say that because it's near the beginning. Yeah. But actually, like now they're like, wow, we've won the Golden Globes and like that's highly acclaimed. Where do we go next? Because they're out of books by James Carville, I think.
Well, you know what? I thought the way they ended it, that they could do another season. Because why wouldn't they?
And I know exactly the story that they should do that is so dramatic, and it's a writer's dream, and it's almost overlooked by history.
Okay.
And again, it's connected to Himeji Castle.
Right, yeah.
Because so all these characters in Shogun are actually based on real life historical characters.
Yeah.
They just changed the name so they could play a little bit fast and loose with the history and not have like historians go, well, this didn't actually turn out like that.
Yeah.
So Toranaga is based on Tokugawa Ieyasu.
Right.
The guy that founded Tokyo and
United Japan.
One of three unifiers of Japan. And then little boy is Toyotomi Hideyoshi. So he's the son of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Mm-hmm. So he was kind of like the shogun before Tokugawa. So in the Shogun series, he's the Taiko character that you see like kind of flashback on his deathbed. So I think the way that they could move forward, there's a historical figure, actually Toranaga or Tokugawa. I'm going to use the real life people's names from now on, because otherwise it gets confusing to keep using both names. But I could do that. But anyway, so Tokugawa's granddaughter, Princess Sen, was married to the little boy Hideyoshi, who was actually, by the way, her first cousin. So there's that. So she was just 7, and the little boy Hideyoshi was just 11 when they were married. Like in an attempt to like sort of like quell that brewing feud between those two powerful families
like that too.
So well, of course, like to begin with, it's just going to be like a couple of cousins that are playing a lot together, and then suddenly one day it's going to get really weird. But anyway,
for her,
especially for her. But anyway, so fast forward 12 years, and Hideyoshi and Princess Sen installed at Osaka Castle. And then like a bit like Washington, D.C. right now, all these samurai are sort of just trying to gathering around, jockeying for position, and like, this guy's going to be the new shogun. So, this is what that whole Council of Five that you see in the Shogun series is all about, to protect until it gets his time. And of course, Tokugawa realizes, well, this is his moment. If he doesn't strike now, then he'll never get another chance, because then it'll be all Toyotomis forever. So he does. And like, then there's a couple of sieges on Osaka Castle.
Right.
Again, I'm like oversimplifying history here. But then, he burns the second siege, they burn the castle.
Yeah, that seemed to me like the obvious, like they got to the point, like, so the Shogun novel is actually really interesting because they don't say anything about his success as a shogun. He doesn't actually become shogun.
Yeah, except the only thing I really that's a show spoiler at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it seems like just continuing the story to
using the history.
And then they also have a great opportunity to do a prequel. They could bring the story from up to where this barbarian ship just showed up.
Right.
So they could show beforehand what happened.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole story of like the Toyotomi Hideyoshi. The Taiko character.
Oda Nobunaga.
Yeah.
And all those characters with the Taiko guy. So
so people want to know the Taiko story.
Yeah.
People want to know about what happens to the little boy. And the story of Princess Sen just goes on. So many dramatic twists and turns in her story.
Yeah, there's lots of opportunities there, and it would be they already know it would be a waste to give it up, so they're probably writing like mad now on something. Right. They're probably like, let's get this in production. We got to get this next series out within a couple of years, or people are going to like fade, So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, we went on this big tangent.
Right.
I always go on these tangents and come back.
Why not? Yeah.
And then when I'm editing and I'm writing out like what we talked about.
Right.
So it's like, 30 minutes and 24 seconds we talk about this. And then I go back just like, 1 hour and 2 minutes, 30 seconds. This again.
Right.
Come back to what we talked about. Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
we could continue that story of Princess Anne, or we could go on to something
you were
else.
talking about. Okay, well, since we're on movies, I've talked about this before on the podcast, but it's always interesting because it's talking about movies about Japan is interesting because it's something people who are going to come to Japan, who have always been or want to come back to Japan, it's something they can do at home.
Exactly.
It's kind of like studying.
Yes.
So what are your what movies do you think like are actually like, pretty good? Like if you watch this movie, you'll kind of get a pretty good understanding of Japan. I would say Shogun, no, because it was like a long time ago Japan and nobody's ready to like, kill themselves now because, they got dishonored at a company party or something like that.
Right, that's true.
Okay, so
although still there is a lot of like
it happens.
People who like kill themselves to take responsibility for some scandal.
Every now and then you'll hear about some
CEO
crazy guy who like killed his whole family and killed himself because he lost his job or something like that. And
then like he wanted to kill himself, but then he thought his parents would be sad by it. So okay, I'm going to kill them too.
So there is
so
kind of that leftover sort of like crazy Japanese samurai stuff, the Bushido. Yeah, okay, but what movies do you think are good to watch, even just as entertainment to introduce people to like Japanese themes, or what are your favorite Japanese themed movies?
Wow. Well, of course, I'm a big Akira Kurosawa fan.
Oh, right. Okay.
But they're again like they're samurai era
movies. Yeah, we call those Jidai Geki, period plays.
Yeah. Actually, a couple of those were like filmed at Himeji Castle too, by the way.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ran and Kagemusha.
Oh, okay.
So Ran is like people think of Akira Kurosawa as like this black and white master, right? But like with Ran, which means chaos, he sort of experimented with color. It's basically the story of King Lear.
Oh yeah, right.
But like to help you understand the different daughters, families, and armies and stuff, everything's like primary colors.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So all the armies are like blue, yellow, red.
That's on the list, and Rashomon is on my list too. It's in my playlist on Netflix.
And I think that one might have been like one of those two. I can't remember which it was, but was actually like co-produced with Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas.
Really?
Yeah, because they're both like big Akira Kurosawa fans.
Yeah. I like Karate Kid, and you would think that like, oh, that's just a whole bunch of pop stuff or whatever, and mostly it is. But when I watch it now, I think like, yeah, that's kind of how Japanese old guys are, and
right. You don't understand why they're telling you to do something, but like it's got a purpose.
Right. And then kind of like you don't ask questions, like because I studied kendo, and I would ask like. Two things. I would ask why something, and then they just just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Wax on.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing was, they would say, "Oh, you did this. Like, don't do that. You do it like this." And I would say, "Yeah, I was trying to like do this," and they were like, "No, you don't explain. You just listen to what I say.
You just listen to what I say and do what I say." Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of learned that you don't explain yourself in Japan. It was like, I really want to explain myself.
Right. Exactly. That's, well, you know what? That is something that I noticed too about, okay, so like one thing that really strikes me when I watch Japanese news or something, and, I watch, English language news, I watch so I watch American news, I watch, New Zealand news, obviously. And I also watch French news because, I'm studying French too. I do tours in French as well. Yeah. one thing I notice is like when they're interviewing kids, like, okay, so, you know, they tried the new season strawberries or something. Kids in France or kids in America or New Zealand or something, you ask a 5-year-old kid, you know, how was it? Oh, it was fun because, and there's always a because. There's always a reason, even if it's a stupid reason. Okay, it was fun because the strawberries are delicious. Same in French. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to like interviewing Japanese kids, it's just like, how was it? Tanoshikatta.
Yeah.
It was fun. That was it. There's no explanation why. There's no reasoning. So like, I think there's something ingrained in like, you know, some kind of Western culture or something.
And that's my job, because I have to, you know, I have to teach kids just today, because we're talking about what we did during New Year vacation, right? Of course. So first day back. So I told them, different teachers have a different name for it. I call it like answer plus. Right. So you have to add something. So it's like, how was your vacation? Good.
Because?
Yeah. You have to say something else. Right. Is it good? I went to Sapporo with my family. Great. Something, anything, you know, good. It was fun. Anything, it could be anything. It doesn't matter. But you have to say at least one more thing. So I actually have to teach them. And I tell them also, I said, look, Japanese don't do this. Japanese answer often with one word. I said, you know, but even in Japan, the better Japanese conversationalists I know don't do that.
Right.
My friend Masashi doesn't do that.
Right. He's learned how to.
Not learn how to, he's just a social guy.
Right.
Social Japanese people, even with no foreign influence, they just know how to continue conversations, you know. And but you know, my students are young and they maybe don't know that, and it's a cultural difference. And you know, one big cultural difference, as you know, talking to them, is that Japanese don't like to talk about themselves.
Right.
So you say, how was your vacation? Good. They don't want to say, oh, I went to this great restaurant or whatever, especially something that's kind of bragging, that's something good that they did. I went shopping, I bought a new coat, it was really expensive. They don't say stuff like that. And so you really have to like...
Yeah. And I guess if they feel like if they tell you about some really cool place, then like they should be bringing you a souvenir or something. Yeah. I went to this really cool place. Okay, where's my souvenir?
No, so it is a big. I have to get them over that cultural difference, and I explain to them, look, Japanese don't do this, but foreigners do. If you talk like that with a foreigner, even to many Japanese, if you answer with one word, they're going to think you don't want to talk to them, and they're just going to leave you. Like,
right.
You know.
Exactly. And I think this is my point, that you're saying that your friend is kind of the exception. But I'm saying that, like, foreigners, this is the rule.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
People who say, apart from teenagers around the world, you know, how was school? Good, you know.
Or sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked.
What did you learn?
Sucks.
I don't know. But apart from that,
So actually, I think the Karate Kid, actually has, like, you know, some really, really good scenes in it. Of course, you know, they like you mentioned before, like they're taking things and kind of just jamming it into the movie, that things that wouldn't maybe happen naturally. But the way Miyagi talks and you know and his mannerisms is very much like a Japanese person, I think. And well,
of course, you know, he is Japanese.
Yeah, of course, sure.
But Japanese American, you know. So
but I mean, somebody wrote the movie for him, and he would have said anything they wanted him to say, because he's getting paid for it. But and then Mr. Baseball is another classic. They also jammed a whole bunch of like cliche Japanese things in it, but they're cliche, but they're not wrong. You know,
I guess you could watch something like Lost in Translation.
That's also a great one. Yeah,
right.
I would think that's even better because it's more subtle.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mr. Baseball, Karate Kid are like really cliche, kind of jammed in there. It seems to happen naturally,
right,
within the story arc of a bunch of foreigners in Tokyo, and these Japanese-ish kind of things happen to them. Yeah, that's another good one. So add those to your movie list before you come to Japan.
Which is probably like a good segue to talk about the other group that I do right now, which is so if you are listening from in Japan as a foreigner, then another group that I sort of co-founded is Japan Expats Network, or GEN for short. We sort of started that about 6 months ago, and it's gone from 0 to 5,000, over 5,000 members in that time. So yeah, and a really, really vibrant
Facebook group.
Facebook group.
Okay, I don't know that one. I'll have to sign up later.
Yeah, you should join because you're a foreigner in Japan.
I'm an expat.
Yeah. So
You are ready for some more?
Yeah,
of
a
that?
little bit. Why not?
We're gonna change.
You're trying to get me drunk and take advantage of it.
Yes, absolutely.
But what was I going to say?
This is the Niigata Daikincho.
I see.
It's we're only allowed so Saudis from Niigata.
Oh, I see.
We're only allowed
with the Niigata. Yeah, everything's Niigata.
We're only allowed Niigata sake in this place. Niigata rice. Niigata
just
rice
hide
cakes.
that one then.
Yeah, no, that was good. No, I've been selling her on this area place. So one time, my friend Bakram, I don't know if you know him. He runs a NPO called Peace and Nature. I want to have him on the podcast also. He gave me some shinmai, which is like new rice, newly picked rice.
Right.
And interestingly, when you
think
get
like Beaujolais or something.
Yeah. When you get new rice, it's actually transparent. You hold it up to the light and it's like,
I didn't
it's
know
like
that.
transparent. It gets opaque, like more like, even after a few months, if you hold it up, you can kind of see through it. I mean, it's because it's
translucent.
opaque.
Yeah.
But when you first get it, it's translucent. And
now I'm thinking about a jeweler like inspecting a diamond.
Get the monocle on. And so he, I bought some rice off of him, and told Saudi how good this rice is, and she was like,
"It's not from Niigata."
Whatever, But we made it and had it, and I was like, well, and she was like, yeah, it's really good. Niigata rice is better, but she said yes. This is really good.
Edible.
Yeah. And we talked about it too. I was like, with better branding, this could be like one of the most famous in Japan. Anyway, okay, so the expat group, Japan Expat Network. Okay. So what's the goal of the group?
Well, basically, we wanted to make a community that was there's a lot of groups that are for Tokyo only, but there are foreigners like you and me that don't live in Tokyo.
Yeah.
But, it's a place where people can ask stupid questions as foreigners and get some good answers. And I'm surprised by the depth and breadth of the community, and the positive vibes of the community too. People have problems, and you have problems with immigration, you have problems with finances, you have problems with just daily life in Japan as a foreigner, because everything's confusing because it's in a foreign language, and not an easy language to decipher either. If you're new to Japan. So there are people like you and me that have been here for a lot longer that we can help each other out.
I have noticed that of the websites that I go to, a lot of Facebook groups, for example, I'm in a fretless-based Facebook group, and the Reddit pages I go to for information on computers, guitars, basses, whatever, music, whatever I want, I'll do a search and just go Reddit recently, because people have a lot of great information on there.
Right.
And
so 99%,
99. So my point is 99% positive. There's very few trolls or people saying stupid question or whatever like this.
Right.
Everybody's really genuinely giving advice, the best advice they think they can give. And
and this is the thing too. We've made it in the rules, and we've got a great admin team, modmin teams. I didn't forget about you. Moderators, the great modmin team that is, really trying to foster this positivity and not be like a negative group. So I mean, obviously we want open discussion and different points of view, but we're also trying to like reduce any kind of like member conflict.
Sure, yeah. I mean, one thing is the MO of so many people on Facebook is they attack the person. It's like,
yeah, you made a stupid mistake, but like now you're in that position, like, you know, like if you got arrested or something in Japan, like, okay, yeah, you probably did something stupid. Maybe you drank or something.
Oh yeah, but
you need some help now. You're in a situation there, but for the grace of God, go everybody else, you know?
Yeah, I mean, let's just say you said something like, okay, Kamala Harris is the best candidate that's ever existed in the United States history. Okay, then somebody go, you're an idiot. No,
that's just an opinion.
Argue the point.
Yeah,
don't attack the person.
Right.
You know, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
has nothing to do with what I said.
Yeah, and
I might
just
be an idiot. I might not be. You don't know me.
And we're just talking about like you will have a reasoning. You're an idiot because she something. And
I should write that as I'm an idiot because ? Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah. And so yes, the MO of so many people, unfortunately. But you know, my YouTube channel, all the comments are open, and sometimes I'll get a snarky remark like, "Oh, this guy's telling us something everybody already knows." It's like, yeah, you're right. You know, is it? You know, but it's, you know, it's sometimes snarky or sarcastic, but nobody's ever mean or anything like that. A lot of people are very positive, so yeah, it's mostly positive. So I mean, that's great. I mean, it's not surprising that's the way the group is. And with your Go to Japan page, I was impressed with all the people that were contributing with all the great information. Like I said, I looked at it for like 5 minutes and I was like, there's just like great post after great post of people just like sharing information about things. So
it's about
definitely
curating. It's about curating.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so the goal is to bring people together and, you know, like help for kind of like a support group, a place they can go ask their stupid questions, get some advice, get some answers.
I've learned a lot of stuff because, like, for example, somebody was asking about snow ties in Hokkaido, and like, you know, I'm samugari. There's a Japanese word for today. Yeah. It means like I really feel the cold and I really hate cold situations. Yeah. So like, you know, I've never lived in snow country.
Right.
So I've never used snow tires. And then I was asking the original poster, like, oh, okay, so like for somebody who's only lived in warmer climes, what is the rule of thumb for like snow tires? You know, how cold should I be like changing my tires? And how do I change my tires? And where do I store my tires and like they had all the answers because they're from snow country.
Right.
And I was like, wow, okay. Learn something new. So apparently it's 7 degrees. If it's consistently under 7 degrees Celsius, you should change the snow ties.
I didn't even know that, and I'm Canadian.
And you can in Japan, you can apparently get your old tires or your snow tires in summer stored at like somewhere like Autobacks or something for like something like 1,000, 2,000.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's great. Yeah, because, you know, Japanese don't have backyards.
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, how would somebody like living in an apartment like this, like, store like set of tires? And
you just taught me something I didn't know. Yeah,
right. Exactly. This is the amazing thing that a Facebook group brings. You know, because people like ask me like, oh, okay, so how much money are you making from it? Nothing, but you get all kinds of opportunities. Like, I actually found an Akiya.
Oh.
Thanks to this group.
Akiya is an abandoned house.
Yeah. So, So I got an Akiya for a great price.
Right.
Like $2,000 for like this amazing place close to Takeda Castle Ruins.
Right,
like if you've ever seen Laputa Castle in the Sky by Hayao Miyazaki, it's based on this. Because these castle ruins, which are also known as the Machu Picchu of Japan, because like if you go about this time of year in winter, the fog kind of like surrounds this castle that's on a hill, and then it looks like it's just floating in the sky.
Right. Yeah.
So
I've never been there. I know people who've gone.
Maybe one day when I convert this Akiya into like a B&B.
Yeah.
you can come and stay.
Yeah, sure. It sounds great.
For a discount.
I'll pay full price. I don't care. So,
I'll hold you to that.
So, yeah, I've heard of people who went there and didn't get the cloud effect because it's really hit and miss, right?
Yeah,
so you got to be
or
really
you have
lucky.
to go. You have to go really early in the morning, which means you need to stay
at an Airbnb.
At an
near
Airbnb.
the Takeda, when I first came to Japan, I had to drive from day one. Then in the first winter, it almost never snows in this area, as you know, a few times a year, and it doesn't accumulate usually. But
how long have you been in here, by the way?
26 years.
Oh wow, that's even longer than me.
Yeah.
When I first came out to Himeji about 20 years ago, there'd usually be like one good snow a year.
Yeah.
But like, thanks to global warming, it's getting less and less.
It is getting less and less. Typically, it snowed every January 1st, as long as I could remember, too.
Wow.
Anyway, so one year it snowed, and everybody was driving like 20 kilometers an hour, 30 kilometers an hour. They're just totally like almost stopped, and I was like, "What's going on? Come on!" So I was like, I was trying to pass people, but my car was like sliding all over the place, and I was like,
"Hello,
maybe these people are driving slow because there's something different about Japan. Maybe it's wetter. The ice is wetter.
They're not used to
Maybe
it. It's Kansai. It's not snow country.
No, what happened was, but I'm from Canada, so I'm good at driving. I can drive on ice, but my car was sliding all over the place. I was like, maybe Japanese winters are different or something. I had no idea. So I got to where I wanted to go, and then I came back and I was driving really cautiously because my car was sliding all over the place. So I get back home and I look at my tires. They were totally bald.
Oh,
like this.
That's why.
Dude, like this bald. It was crazy. Yeah, so I was driving.
You are the problem.
Yes.
And you thought, I'm Canadian. But
yeah. I was like,
it's a superpower.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the trait is. I'm Canadian.
Yeah. No, had I gone
as aggressively as you wanted to.
Had I had normal tires, even summer tires at that point, or all season tires, I would have been fine, and I would have been passing everybody like I was thinking in my mind I could. But yeah,
thank God you didn't.
Yeah, I could have crashed. Yeah, it's
totally.
Crazy. Yeah. So this is smooth, eh? This sake also.
Yeah, that is good too.
This has a softer taste than the one you brought. And a little bit kind of like goes in the mouth.
Yeah, hear that sounding.
This is very nice.
He's telling the audience that Niigata is still the best.
Yeah, I have to. I'm contracted. I'm contracted to say that.
Obliged to.
Otherwise, I got to sleep outside. I'm gonna have to take you up on your offer and sleep on your floor or something sooner. So you drive in Japan. I don't drive in Japan now because I live in Kobe. I don't need to, but you drive in Japan.
I live in Himeji, so
you need
and out in the suburbs, so you really need it.
So how do you find driving in Japan?
I find it like, apart from like today, because it's the first Monday back from New Year's.
You're right. The traffic was crazy.
Traffic was just crazy.
And it was raining.
And also nobody's doing overtime. Because it's the start of the year, nobody's got extra clients that have deadlines that they have to meet. So everybody was like leaving work, I think, at 6. So just as I was hitting the traffic. So yeah, it was terrible today. Yeah. But normally it's, I think drivers in Japan are typically pretty good, and they're usually pretty courteous. Mm-hmm. You get the odd one every time, but I think it's less than back home.
No, definitely. Japanese are great drivers. So when you hear all these stories about Asian drivers, like in Los Angeles or whatever,
they're probably not Japanese.
I don't think so, because there are places like Vietnam and Thailand where
or Philippines,
China, where a combination of life is cheap plus there's like
cars.
many cars, no road rules where like red lights mean nothing, and nobody signals.
Car lanes mean nothing.
Yeah, car lanes mean nothing. The signals mean nothing. Those are the people who are who are like, causing accidents
And maybe aggressive.
abroad, probably. Yeah, but Japanese people, if Japanese people have a fault, if they're abroad, they would probably be too cautious, because that can cause a problem too.
Right.
If everybody were cautious, like in Japan,
Right.
there's very few accidents.
Right.
But if
everybody's
aggressive and one person's cautious, then an accident might happen.
Right.
Because, but. Japanese are great drivers and very courteous, like courteous to a fault. Like sometimes, like one thing that aggravates me all the time is, like, a car is turning. I'm going to cross the crosswalk, and a car is turning, and I'm just leaving the crosswalk, and they're here.
Right, but they're waiting for you to cross.
Yeah. They could just totally go. They could
go.
3 cars, 5 cars could go in the time it takes me to get to where they are.
Yeah.
But they stop and they're waiting for me.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I have to hurry up.
Right.
It's like, okay,
sometimes.
Jesus Christ,
That's right.
Go across
so sometimes the courtesy can actually become like a burden.
Yeah.
So like I always think about like the, like when you take your shoes off at a Japanese house. Like, you should take your shoes off and face them towards the door, right? Because if you don't, then your host will come and turn your shoes towards the door for you. So, like, because otherwise that would be a burden for you when you're trying to leave, that you have to turn your shoes around. But of course, then you feel the burden that you might be a burden to them. So you're turning the shoes around for yourself. So it's so is that really like helpful?
Yeah. There's another
burden of the burden is like
another example of
stressing you
like
out.
Overly helpful or overly courteous is I've had a couple girlfriends who were like this. They were trying to be nice, but like, for example, I'm going to work. I got to teach one class. I'll be back in a couple hours. Just like watch TV or whatever, and you do whatever you want. So I go to leave my place, and while I'm getting ready, they're like trying to like help me help me with my coat. Help me get my coat on. They're just being nice. Like, I'll help you with the coat. And then they're making it harder. And then I go to get...
maybe because they're so short, too.
Yeah. Then I go to get my bag, and then they go to help me with it, and then it like goes like way across the other side and falls on the ground. I'm like, hey...
Just let me do my stuff.
Thank you. You're being very nice.
Right.
I'll get it from here.
Right.
Just let me handle it. So I put my bag on. I'll be back in a couple hours. Thank you. Bye. It's like, Jesus Christ, you like it. It's like too much help is like, it's kind of like imagine you're cutting some carrots and somebody tries to come help you cut the carrots.
Right.
It's like no. That's not going to help.
It's not helping. Yeah.
Here, what? I'll help you. No, somebody's going to die.
I'll help you hold the knife.
Somebody's going to die.
Yeah.
That's a Dwight McKeever line. Somebody's going to die tonight. Only my buddy Mark, who hopefully is still listening to these while he's doing his cleaning and everything else around the house. It's just an inside joke. Sorry. Anyway, so driving in Japan is actually kind of nice, right? What deal did you have, like, as a New Zealander? Did you come to Japan and immediately get a Japanese driver's license? Did you do it much later?
Actually, the first 2 years I was living in Osaka. In fact, quite close to the central Osaka. So I never like thought about driving in Japan for my first 2 years. But once I decided to buy an English school in Himeji, and I knew I would have to like drive to, my kindergartens and different places that I'd be teaching at. So I was like, okay, I need to go and, change my license. And of course,
you can lean back.
Oh, okay.
See, there's another problem with using mics for when I have the mics up here, you can go anywhere you want, and
it's still
the audio is still the same. But with this, like I said, you go like this, and now you can't hear it. You go back, and now it's not loud enough, and then you do this, and it's too loud. Yeah, so I'm trying it out today. Okay. I already don't like it, but we'll see how the sound is. Well,
anyway, I can see my levels on over your shoulder. So I can
that's good.
keep an eye on it. What were we talking about again?
You're talking about driving. You lived in Osaka, so you didn't need a car. And then
it came out to Himeji.
So how did you get your Japanese license?
Well, I think that basically Japan does to you and your country what you and your country does to Japanese drivers when they go to your country. So, for example, until recently, like Americans had to even if they had like a full license in America, they would have to start from scratch and like even maybe go to a Japanese driving school and pay like $3,000 and
not America, but some countries, yeah.
Yeah, well, now it's changed so that it's much easier again. But I think basically because America does the same thing to Japanese licenses, I don't know what your license is, start from scratch. Whereas like New Zealand is kind of like, okay, we'll get your license translated into English and pay the fee and we'll stamp Bob's your uncle. Go for it.
So you just changed your license?
Yeah. So like I went to this driving center and I was like, okay, so here's my New Zealand license. I got a full license. And, I want you to change it into a Japanese license. What do I have to do? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. You'll have to come back. You have to fill out this form and you're going to have to come back this afternoon. I'm like, why do I have to come back this afternoon? Because the photographer's only coming in the afternoon. Why do I have to have the photographer? Because we need to take your photo for your license. Okay. I'll be back. I'll be back this afternoon. Thank you very much. So it was simply that easy. Like I didn't have to take a test or anything. In fact, I think for my first couple of months, I was actually kind of dangerous because like the turning rule.
Oh, yeah.
Who has a right of way when two people are turning like left and right? It was the opposite from when I was driving in New Zealand. New Zealand has changed to be the same as Japan now, apparently. But at first, like I was probably doing the wrong way. I was like expecting that I would have the right of way at the wrong time. And giving away when I shouldn't have been giving way.
Right. There's something peculiar about Kakuga Himeji driving in that often, like, let's say there's two cars, they're turning this way.
Right.
This car turning right, like into the traffic, turning right, will sneak in.
Right, between one and the next.
Yeah. This guy's turning and he'll just go in like this, and then he'll sneak in.
Yeah.
And it's only in Kakugawa and Himeji they do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay, so anyway,
I've seen something like that.
So when I came to Japan, it was a little bit different. My buddy Mark, who came a few years earlier than I, he just straight up traded his Canadian license for a Japanese one.
Right.
In my case, I had to do a road test.
Wow.
It seemed at the time a formality. I was in a test with a few Brazilians. They all failed and I passed.
Right.
Now, maybe they failed because they deserved to fail, but...
maybe it's again a political thing.
But, but another thing is that I just remembered all the things that I was taught in my driving school in Canada.
Right.
And so I did all these silly things that I thought were silly.
Theatrics of like, I'm checking my... mirror and I'm checking my side mirrors.
Yeah.
And I'm checking that my indicators work before I get in the car.
Exactly.
All that kabuki theater is really important.
Touching every mirror. Yeah. The radio was off, but I just
turn the radio off.
I didn't know what I was doing, but also I walked around the car.
Right, that's important for them.
Yeah, because in Canada we kind of do that in the wintertime anyway, because you want to make sure there's no kids' sleds or in the summer bikes or stuff like that.
Right.
Around the car,
and your car's not iced over or something.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean that's what you're supposed to do every time you get in a car, right?
Right.
You're supposed to go around the car. So I did that. I went around the car. I checked everything, and I did all the theatrics.
Yeah.
And I told the guy, I told the instructor, the tester, I said, you got your seatbelt on there?
Right. Oh my God. He probably thought it was like, he probably thought it was great.
Oh, I
gave
I
you
went to the back.
bonus points.
Yeah, the people, because it was strange. These three Brazilians and I were all in the same car at the same time.
So they could have seen it, were they?
And I was first.
You were first, and they didn't do that. They
they
probably thought,
didn't do
oh,
what
stupid,
I did, but
stupid theatrics.
But also, one girl ran over a curb, and So anyway, maybe they didn't deserve to pass, but anyway, I had to do this thing. But now that I don't have a license anymore because I let it expire.
Oh no! Okay.
I have to start from scratch. And I have to do it. And I don't want to go the driving school way. So I have to just study. I've already downloaded the PDF.
You know what? Because part of that Japan Expats Network, every first and third Saturday and Sunday, or weekend, it started out just being Saturdays, but it's weekends. You can post about what you do. You can post your business thing. So somebody actually posted. It's in Tokyo, but they're helping people, change their license.
There's people around here who will tell you
license and stuff.
Yeah, they'll
and take you to a place where you can drive around the track, kind of thing. Yeah, but it's a lot less than you'd pay at a driving school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because that can be like $3,000 or $2,500 to $3,000 US.
It's at least $3,000. It's 2,000 American dollars, 30 man here. Yeah. So interesting. So I want to get my license just so I can rent a car and go to those places that you kind of can't get to, or they're really awkward by train or.
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, if you wanted to go to
Hawaii Island
or Shirakawa Go or something.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a 4-hour bus or like a. I guess there's trains, but they're not really convenient.
There's a couple other places. Yeah.
Hire a car from Nagoya, say, and just go and drive out there.
I want to go to Izumi and Matsue also. I mean, you can go there by train. It takes a long time. And then also
places like, what do you call it? Like Totori.
Totori is great to go by car. Akinosaki.
Yeah, or somewhere like Hokkaido. There's really not that.
Well, you rent you have to rent a car in Hokkaido.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, that also. Yeah, fly somewhere and rent a car. Okinawa also. You got to rent a car in Okinawa if you're going to go anywhere outside of Naha. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So what else you got going on? You doing any music? You're a mean ukulele player. I was really surprised last time.
Well, I think I'm a lot better now than I was then because
So he came over to my place. I just on Facebook I just posted it like, hey, this Sunday, whatever, not this Sunday, but whatever Sunday, February, whatever. Come to my place. We'll write and record a song in one day. And we tried.
Yeah.
We kind of wrote a song.
Right.
But we didn't record it. I recorded a bass track that I still have.
Wow.
But and the melody.
Right.
So I have the melody and we have the words and stuff, but we didn't actually, fill it up. But you really surprised me with how well you play ukulele. So
that was just me at very beginning stages, but I'm really getting into it. I mean, especially since my wife passed away recently, I'm sort of getting into different skills, especially music skills, to as kind of like some kind of self therapy. So I'm really getting into ukulele and teaching myself piano as well.
Yeah. I need to get back into that.
I mean, the thing is that once you've got certain kind of basic music theory, that it kind of makes sense. I know how to make chords on ukulele and.
Sure. Basically, you give me any instrument in the world and I can make a tune, at least, do something with it in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense, once you've got an idea that you just know that F chord is FAC and, C chord is CGE, kind of thing, or some different combination of those ones. And that C chord, A minor, G chord, G major, F major is going to be the main chords that are going to come up in a song that's in C, for example,
Yeah. Most songs are in C, G, D, A minor.
Yeah. Same idea.
Yeah. And ukulele is super fun.
Right.
It is
And
really
it's like,
fun. It's one of the funnest instruments.
yeah, because it's like a mini guitar, but with just 4 strings instead of 6. So
tons of YouTube videos available. I'm recommending to everybody, you get a ukulele, get a cheap ukulele, get one on auction, or, Craigslist or wherever your
but
auction
yeah, you
site
know
is.
what? Also, like I actually decided to treat myself with like an actual decent sounding ukulele. I spent like 50,000 and actually got a nice one.
Mine was about the same price, and I didn't want to spend that much. But the guy who got it for me, he's like, I wanted to spend max. I think I told him like
20,000 or
30,000 or
Yeah.
something, like 20,000 or 30,000.
Yeah.
And
But the tone is just different. It's completely different.
well, he came to me. He's like, "Is 60,000?" I said, "Dude, no, I'm not paying 60,000 for this. What are you going? Well, I wanted you to have a good one. Well, you can keep it if it's so good. Like, I don't need a good one. I just need something like click, click, click. That's
Yeah,
it.
and see if ukulele is the right instrument for you.
Yeah. So he said,
Yeah, buy
well,
a
I
cheap
actually
one
had gigs,
and try, and then get a good one. And
but I had gigs lined up. So my buddy
okay.
Mike and I, we would do Hawaiian music at like festivals and stuff like that.
wow.
Yeah, and so I needed a good ukulele, but like not a great
Yeah,
ukulele.
right,
But
yeah.
so he bought it and then he said, okay, well, I'll give it to you. Like, how about like 40,000? I said, yeah, but then you're losing money. So I just want you to have a good.
Wow.
Yeah. And, Japanese people like are really generous like this sometimes. Like, so I said, and
obviously, despite the reputation to the contrary, they will negotiate on price. They will barter.
oh yeah, depending on what it is. Yeah. Especially in this area, in the Kansai area.
Yeah, Kansai is really like old school. Like they're like they are an economic city. If
Osaka Castle was purposely built so that there was like, of course, the castle, and then there was the aristocrats wall,
Right.
and then there was like merchants wall.
Right, right.
So because the what is it, Nobunaga? Is that Oda Nobunaga? He wanted
Toyotomi, maybe? Toyotomi.
Oh yeah.
Toyotomi.
Toyotomi Hideyoshi, whatever his
Yeah,
name is.
yeah, that's it.
He wanted to make a thriving merchant town. It was his goal,
Right.
and so he actually like put the merchants' stores and shops with the homes on top or whatever inside one of the 3 whatever walls that existed around the city at the time.
Well, I mean, it sounds a lot like Himeji. Like Himeji actually had 3 modes.
Yeah.
At one stage. So so the inner part was obviously the castle, and the next ring was like samurai and administrative people, and then the third ring, which even to this day, like suburbs are named like Salt Market or Fish Market or Silver Market or that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
So the Par district, as you may recall, since you lived around there, is actually like Fish Market.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't know that area.
Even though it's more of a meat market, maybe.
Yeah. I think I know which area you're talking about, though. Yeah. I made a mistake. Yeah, it's the aristocrats, and then the samurai, and then the merchants. Yeah.
Right. Probably. Yeah.
I had something I was going to say about
Sorry.
about the merchants and selling and the castles, and it's gone. Sorry. Yeah. Damn. It was a little bit good too. Oh well.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always does.
It was about the merchants and the okay, I got it now. So when I first came to Japan, I had the Lonely Planets Guide to Japan, Japan Guide or whatever, and I was living in Takasago, and I was just all alone, and
with your Lonely Planet,
with
a lonely man with a lonely book.
Planet. Yes, exactly. It's a perfect book for me. And so I looked up the Himeji Castle, and because I was going to go there, I thought it was my first train adventure.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm
That's a good one.
I'm just gonna get on a train. I'm gonna go to Himeji Castle, and I needed to go because it was cherry blossom season. I got here April 1st.
Yeah.
There were cherry blossoms out. And
And like Himeji Castle is one of the best places to see cherry blossoms because One is the sake, and two is because there are over 1,000 territories within the first moat.
Yeah, and you can just get some lunch at either a convenience store or at a place that sells lunch boxes around the station or around, on the walk up to the castle. Sit on the grass or somewhere.
Probably
in the park.
go around the back of the castle because all the premium spots at the front of the castle probably been hogged by some poor new recruit into a big company that had to like go there first thing in the morning, like maybe 5 a.m. and go and grab the best spot.
But I have a solution for that,
tree.
especially as a foreigner. So what I used to do is I used to go there, like me and a date, we just go to some like, Hanami place or whatever, like Himeji Castle or Shikugawa Park or whatever, Osaka Park, and find people who had sheet, but they weren't using it all. Right. And then I would say like, excuse me, can we sit here? Okay. Like and I would just point to like little corner. And they would say, yeah, sure. Yeah. So then we'd, get the free blue sheet. Right.
So you got the benefit of some poor guy that got there at 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah. And sometimes even when people were in full party mode, if there was like,
because also like after they've had like 3 sakes, everybody's their friend.
Exactly. And then inevitably when you sit down, they say like, where from, and
they want to try.
I'm Keisuke, your name, and and then they're offering you sake,
and maybe
beer.
It's like premium sake because it's the company annual picnic, basically.
Could be, and then they have the food, like they're offering sushi rolls and stuff like that, and so
awesome.
So don't be afraid to approach Japanese people like that, and they're usually very accommodating.
That's a great idea, actually.
And if it's a bad idea, and if they can't, they'll just say gomenasai.
Then try the next group.
Yeah, because and it's not like they're being stingy. They're probably like no, this is my company's like picnic.
And the CEO is about to turn up in about 10 minutes.
How long are you going to stay? I mean, I have enough Japanese. I could, even that time, like I had enough Japanese. I could just say like, just like 10 minutes, 10分だけ、なんかここだけ、なんか座っていいですか? And then they say, well, yeah, go ahead. So, anyway.
And 2 hours later, they're still like playing you with sake.
So the Lonely Planet book, I look up Himeji Castle and it said, Himeji Castle is surrounded by moats and it's built so that it's maze-like, so that attackers to the castle, this, I'm talking about
of course. Yeah.
Attackers of the castle, they would not know how to lead them around.
Yes.
And then there's holes in the wall. There's like triangle, square, whatever, slits in the wall where you could throw out arrows.
Arrows or muskets.
Right. Yeah. Before that, he said there's a moat around the castle. Then he writes, is the funniest thing in a guidebook I've ever read. Then he writes, all things considered, better to pay the 500 yen entry fee.
Okay.
Because there's a moat, there's arrow slits, there's a maze.
Right.
To confuse attackers.
So if you're trying to attack,
right.
Better to pay the 500.
All things considered, better just pay the entrance fee.
Right. Speaking of the entrance fee,
it's not 500 yen anymore.
Yeah, it's 1,000 yen, and in fact, our great mayor has decided that come 2026 that they may increase the fee for foreigners 2 or 3 times. So it could be 2,000, 3,000 for foreigners, but maybe half for locals, like maybe 500 yen for locals.
I'm all for making it cheaper for locals, but that seems kind of exorbitant.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because so many
bad,
people are going like,
it's bad news. It's bad. It looks bad optics. Right.
Yeah, because it looks like you're just gouging people, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it is. But at the same time, the only castle in Japan that's UNESCO World Heritage. So.
And the thing is all original. It's made out of wood. Yeah. That sometimes if they're calculating,
we have to
in 10 years we're going to have to replace all these stairs.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not going to be original anymore. We have to replace all these stairs, and so.
Yeah, it's a constant, slow rebuild. basically.
Yeah. So eventually it's not going to be original anymore.
Yeah, it's like this is our family axe. You know, it's been in the family for 10 generations. We've only replaced the head 5 times and the handle 3 times, but
Right.
you know, it's still the same axe.
Yeah, exactly. And if they, for example, if they increase the price and that keeps 10% of the tourists away, well, good. Kind of, you know, maybe because then
maybe that's
less
the
people
idea.
coming to the castle is actually a good thing, you know.
Yeah, maybe that's a point.
So
yeah.
I don't know, or even, you know, even better if we raise it by 3 and we get and 2/3 of the people don't come anymore, then we're going to save the castle. So who knows what they're thinking? But I would like to hear a reason behind it before.
Apparently it's for maintenance.
If that's true, then, you know, because they just redid it, it just opened up. Like, when was it? 2022 or 2023?
No, it was actually time like telescopes. Actually, it was 2009 to 2015.
So 2009, 2015.
When they had it in the box and stuff, right?
Yeah, they had the cover on it.
Yeah.
Really? But I went in it.
It's part of the tour, so
I went in it in 2014.
yeah, you can still go in it, but it was in a box.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, what's the cool thing is they had like this floor around the castle. So when they're like repairing the roofs and stuff, so the workers could work, you know, safely and more efficiently, and also so they could charge an extra fee to the few tourists who were still coming, so they could go and watch them work.
I thought it was under construction from 2015 to like 2022 or something like that.
I know it's weird how, you know, time.
Wow. Also, I have a really bad memory. So
No, it's like everybody like times telescopes closer. But yeah, totally. As part of the tour, so I have to know all these facts.
So you have to get back to Himeji. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up? Or?
Maybe like so. I'm really lucky with the. I told you that I wanted to change this Akiya that I bought in Takeda, and you know, I really want to give a shout out to and promote something that sort of like my business mentor, who has given me a lot of advice about how to go about this, who does Hidemitsu-san, if you're listening. So he's had this really successful Mount Fuji panorama glamping experience. Got a big dome tent, and like, you know, it's like sold out all year. But his latest project is he's got this Asahikawa Hokkaido snow resort project that he's just released this year, and it's, you know, starting to sell out, and it's really awesome, and it's really close to a couple of ski resorts, you know, ski slopes, ski fields, whatever's the right term. Long time since I've been skiing. And, you know, like one is like across the road, and one is like, you know, just down the road, and like one of them like has been world snowboarding championship slopes like twice, kind of thing, and it's like big enough to the snow resort is big enough for 10 people, I think, but in separate rooms, so it's not like one big dormitory. So but it's booked out as a whole. So like if you've got a group that wants to go do this snowboarding or skiing in Hokkaido, I absolutely recommend that. And maybe you can put the link in there.
I'll put the links to both your Facebook sites. And do you have a separate web page for your?
Oh yes, of course. I've just been working on a website actually right at the moment. It's still a work in progress, but
okay,
it's
give me the link for that.
Kansai.vip. like Kansai, like as in the airport, KANSAI.VIP.
Okay. Yeah, great. Okay, so yeah, I'll make sure you send me all those links before I put this out. I'm gonna put my solo podcast out first, and then yours. Okay, great, man. That's a lot of great information. By the way, there's good skiing in Himeji, so no excuse.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Hachikita.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Next time I go, I'll let you know if you're free. You can come with us.
Okay.
You're probably going to be busy, but I go to Hachikita once or twice a year, usually with my buddy Paul. It's a really easy day trip. We get the bus from Himeji Station or Kafukawa.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's pretty cheap. And I rent equipment and everything. So yeah, it's good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, next time you go, give me a heads up.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come with you.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell you because we're making a plan now. And as soon as my buddy Paul tells me when his pulled muscle is healed, we're going to make him.
Because we got to do it in the next couple of months. Because otherwise, when it'll be over.
We're going to be skiing on grass. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Right. Good, man.
Okay. Thanks.
That was fun.